What's going on, Space Monkeys? Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden. More of On Guerrilla Warfare by Mao today. This is part 2 of chapter 5, page 38, The Method of Organizing Guerrilla Regimes. Many of those who decide to participate in guerrilla activities do not know the methods of organization. For such people, as well as for students who have no knowledge of military affairs, the matter of organization is a problem that requires solution. Even among those who have military knowledge, there are some who know nothing of guerrilla regimes because they are lacking in that particular type of military experience. The subject of organization of such regimes is not confined to the organization of specific units, but includes all guerrilla activities within the area where the regime functions. As an example of such organization, we may take a geographical area in the enemy's rear. This area may comprise many counties. It must be subdivided in individual companies or battalions formed to accord with these subdivisions. To this military area, a military commander and political commissioners are appointed. Under these, the necessary officers, both military and political, are appointed. In the military headquarters, there will be the staff, the aides, supply officers, and medical personnel. These are controlled by the Chief of Staff, who acts in accordance with the orders from the commander. In the political headquarters, there are bureaus of propaganda organization, people's mass movements, and miscellaneous affairs. Control of these is vested in the political chairman. The military areas are subdivided into smaller districts in accordance with local geography, the enemy situation locally, and the state of guerrilla development. Each of these smaller divisions within the area is a district, each of which may consist from 2 to 6 counties. To each district, a military commander and several political commissioners are appointed. Under their direction, military and political headquarters are organized. Tasks are assigned in accordance with the number of guerrilla troops available. Although the names of the officers in that district correspond to those in the larger area, the number of the functionaries assigned in the former case should be reduced to the least possible. In order to unify control, to hand guerrilla troops that come from different sources, and to harmonize military operations and local political affairs, a committee of 7 to 9 members should be organized in each area and district. This committee, the members of which are selected by the troops and the local political officers, should function as a forum for the discussion of both military and political matters. All the people in an area should arm themselves and be organized into 2 groups. One of these groups is a combat group, the other a self-defense unit, but with limited military qualities. Regular combatant guerrillas are organized into one of 3 general types of units. The first of these is the small unit, the platoon or the company. In each county, 3 to 6 units may be organized. The second type is the battalion, of from 2 to 4 companies. One such unit should be organized in each county. While the unit fundamentally belongs in the county in which it was organized, it may operate in other counties. While areas other than its own, it must operate in conjunction with local units in order to take advantage of their manpower, their knowledge of local terrain and their local customs, and information of the enemy. The third type is the guerrilla regiment, which consists from 2 to 4 of the above-mentioned battalion units. If sufficient manpower is available, a guerrilla brigade of 2 to 4 regiments may be formed. Each of these units has its own peculiarities of organization. A squad, the smallest unit, has a strength from 9 to 11 men, including the leader and the assistant leader. Its arms may be from 2 to 5 Western-style rifles. Now in America, it's not. It's a lot more than that. With the remaining men armed with rifles of local manufacture, fowling pieces, etc., spears, or big swords. 2 to 4 such squads form a platoon. This too has a leader and an assistant leader. And when acting independently, it is assigned a political officer to carry on political propaganda work. The platoon may have about 10 rifles, with the remainder of its, and then there's a text corrupt here, 4 of such units form a company, which, like the platoon, has a leader, assistant leader, and a political officer. All these units are under the district supervision and the military commanders of these areas in which they operate. The battalion unit must be more thoroughly organized and better equipped than the smaller units. Its discipline and its personnel should be superior. If a battalion is formed from company units, it should not deprive subordinate units entirely of their manpower or of their arms. If in a small area there is a peace preservation corps, a branch of the militia or police, regular guerrilla units should not be dispersed over it. The guerrilla unit next in size to the battalion is the regiment. This must be under more severe discipline than the battalion. In an independent guerrilla regiment, there may be 10 men per squad, 3 squads per platoon, 3 platoons per company, 3 companies per battalion, and 3 battalions to each regiment. 2 of such regiments form a brigade. Each of these units has a commander, a vice commander, and a political officer. In North China, guerrilla cavalry units should be established. These may be regiments from 2 to 4 companies or battalions. All these units, from the lowest to the highest, are combatant guerrilla units and receive their supplies from the central government. Details of their organization are shown in the tables. All the people of both sexes from the ages of 16 to 45 must be organized into anti-Japanese self-defense units. This is the most important part of the chapter, by the way. As a first step, they must procure arms, then they must be given both military and political training. Their responsibilities are local sentry duties, securing information of the enemy, arresting traitors, and preventing the dissemination of enemy propaganda. When the enemy launches a guerrilla suppression drive, these units, armed with what weapons there are assigned to certain areas to deceive, hinder, and harass him. Thus, the defense units assist the combatant guerrillas. They have other functions as well. They furnish stretcher bearers to transport the wounded, carriers to take the food to the troops, and comfort missions to provide the troops with tea and rice. If a locality can organize such a self-defense unit as we have described, the traitors cannot hide, nor can bandits and robbers disturb the peace of the people. Thus the people will continue to assist the guerrilla and supply manpower to our regular armies. The organization of self-defense units is a transitional step in the development of universal conscription. Such units are reservoirs of manpower for the orthodox forces. There have been such organizations for some time in Shanxi, Henan, and Sichuan. The youth organizations in different provinces were formed for the purpose of educating the young. They have been of some help. However, they were not voluntary, and confidence of the people was thus not gained. This system was therefore supplanted by the new type organizations, which are organized on the principles of voluntary cooperation and non-separation of the members from their native localities. When the members of these organizations are in their native towns, they support themselves. Only in case of military necessity are they ordered to remote places, and when this is done, the government must support them. Each member of these groups must have a weapon, even if the weapon is only a knife, a pistol, a lance, or a spear. In all places where the enemy operates, these self-defense units should organize within themselves a small guerrilla group of perhaps 3 to 10 men armed with pistols or revolvers. This group is not required to leave its native locality. The organization of these self-defense units is mentioned in this book because such units are useful for the purposes of inculcating the people with military and political knowledge, keeping order in the rear, and replenishing the ranks of the regulars. These groups should be organized not only in the active war zones, but in every province of China. The people must be inspired to cooperate voluntarily. We must not force them, for if we do, we will be ineffectual. This is extremely important. In order to control anti-Japanese military organization as a whole, it is necessary to establish a system of military areas and districts along the lines we have indicated. All right, we're on page 43. We'll finish up the chapter probably tomorrow or the next day. Keep fighting that good fight out there, guys. I'll talk to you later.